was so easy. Like there's very little to do. You just have to be there to unblock them because there's so much like content all thrown around. It's not organized. You don't know if what you're reading is deprecated. Like right now, everything's on our heads. Like when it comes to development Web3, right? We kind of have it in our heads. So this idea of like being a mentor for someone who wants to quickly onboard into the space works because you're just basically saying, yeah, ignore that. Take a look at this. You need to understand this. And in like 2 weeks, you have someone that's contributing to your team in really powerful ways, right? So the Eternauts DAO basically was people saying, why don't you try to scale this, right? Why don't you try to make this like a community thing, like a place where mentors, like OGs can come and say, I'm going to be a mentor and I'm going to offer a program, right? With the objective of getting you into X team or Y team or whatever. And then people come and say, hey, I'm a senior dev. I'm interested in your program. The, the mentors pick a couple of mentees and off they go. And it's been going on for a while. There's been a bunch of success cases. We've had a few non-success cases. Um, but yeah, we are looking for ways to create like a DAO that uses like organic incentives to train people. We don't want to have like a syllabus or a program, right? We don't want to work on it, right? We want it to be like a self emerging property, right? Like that. Like I don't know if you know what I mean. Um, the effort is done by the community for the community, and there's not like a rigid structure or people working on it. It's just we're just there to align incentives and remove friction. But that's why we're trying to scale that process. Uh, that's kind of like the intro to what we're trying to do. Any questions so far?
Nice.
Does that make sense?
How long have you been doing it for now? When was it that you started?
I'm gonna pick this one.
Yeah, yeah, please.
We started 4 months ago. We started with a pairing process where mentors can post their trainings and mentees can apply to them to be paired with the mentors. This was the first friction that we took out, and now we are starting to develop kind of challenges for mentees to go and poke their minds and learn without a mentor, and see if we can come up with a system where someone can check for the contract and see if the challenge is solved correctly.
Nice. And the process of joining either as a student or a, like, what would we call it, mentor? How does that work?
Mentor or mentee, yeah. You just join the DAO. You don't need. We don't have any limit on it. There's if you want to become an Ethernaut, those are the people organizing the DAO. You need to make a 1-minute video call with me or Ralph to provide you human proof, because Ethernauts will be able to vote governance decisions in the future, and we want to avoid civil attacks with this process. But there's no requisite to join, just getting the DAO on Discord server.
Mm-hmm. And do you have like a minimum threshold for the developers you try to educate? So do they have to be senior developers established with a portfolio behind them? Or is it like word of mouth also go well on, oh yeah, he's good? Or is it also for complete beginners?
We started with
let me
senior. Oh,
yeah. Can I take this? So yeah, like our MVP, let's say, is like Tesla, the model. I don't know what. Like we take the easiest path first. That is to train people that are already senior, right? That's like our bootstrapping. We want to make that work, and once it does, we can um, address like, okay, how can we help people that are not necessarily at that senior, right? But they're interested. But that's like a phase two, let's say. For now, our formal processes are focused at senior developers, but we are throwing a bunch of info on resources on the Discord server. So we have perhaps not so senior people lurking around, let's say, um, but not applying to mentorships.
one more thing
Hello.
about the basic. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
thanks. Thanks. Do we have the curricula or like the subjects that you teach there, that you mentor there?
We were kind of against curricula. That's like there's very little structure, like an amazing low amount of structure in the DAO because and the same thing happens with the mentorships. It's completely up to the mentor. We don't enforce any type of curriculum. We do provide, like, we collect resources and we put them on the same place. We put out challenges, and a mentor can just pick whatever they want. Um, we're also collaborating with Lambda School. They do want to have a curricula, and they're building it, and it's pretty cool. But our approach is like the other side of the coin. Like, we don't define the topics. We just pair people and give them resources that can be um, content. It can be uh, economic resources, right? So that's kind of like what we do, right? But we're like a place of meeting, finding each other, let's say.
I was gonna say I find it's intriguing to me. Like, so I love the idea of not having a curriculum, but how do you know when somebody is done or complete? Is it a matter of their feeling of confidence, or how do you vet that they have the skills to don, the Ethernaut senior dev badge, so to speak?
Yeah. So we don't say, hey, this person is trained uh, a DeFi protocols or whatever. Take this person. It's more like the mentors come from a team, right? They pick someone and they start having like a relationship with that person and teaching that person and understanding what that person knows and needs to learn, right? So when the mentorship is like advanced, uh, a month in or something, they know that person pretty well, and they have a pretty good idea of the capabilities of that person, both in terms of hard and soft skills, right? Um, so yeah, that's why I say it's like organic. It's like a very one-to-one, right? Which is kind of like a contradiction in terms of scaling, right? But that's like the challenge we are addressing. Let's say even if we can scale 1 to 2, it's an exponential growth. So but we're not like a factory. We don't have like a set of curriculum or skills assessments, that sort of thing. We will explore it. Like we're gonna have on-chain games and stuff, and we're working on these NFT avatars that can have badges and challenges that things you win, that sort of thing. But we're still like a bit in that side. For now, it's very human driven.
Yeah, to add what Ale is saying, for example, Alberto from you took 3 mentees to mentor, and 2 of them got a job on Yield. So when they took the job 3 months later, we knew they were able to build smart contracts. That's kind of the proof that we have.
Right, but by the time someone is like finishing a mentorship and the team that did the mentorship makes the decision if that person will be offered like a permanent position in the team, they submitted several PRs. Like they got their hands dirty with the protocol's code. So yeah, you just get that from looking at their code, how much they know and whatever their strengths are, and then you just fill in the gaps as you go, as this person is like your new team member, right?
Interesting. And how do you track value or assign value? Or do you have any kind of tokenomics going on, or are the mentors rewarded, or are they paid by the students, or how does it?
For now, we have this little NFT project, right? But we want to have community members to have one of these, right? And we're gonna give some away to mentors, and then we might like come up with some other NFT, right? That recognizes a certain contribution to the community, that sort of thing. So I guess we could say we are on a fundraising stage, right? But once we have those funds, we intend to use them in ways that unblock like the bottlenecks in this process. For example, we found that a bottleneck is that people from other development say industries, let's say, they don't make the jump or the leap of faith because I don't know, they don't have like economic securities, right? But if you offer them a little salary while they are studying, they make the jump, right? So as a DAO, we want to be able to say to like put resources into a pool or something and give mentors have already like they have an NFT, let's say an avatar, and they've gained the mentor NFT or whatever. If they fulfill those conditions, they have an allowance on the pool, and they can use that allowance to compensate mentees as they're going through a program. So they can say, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna study this, and I'm gonna get paid for the next 2 months while I do it. So they're super chill about it and they enjoy the process a lot. So that's basically it. We're raising funds and we're gonna use the funds to address the bottlenecks in the process so that more people can make the leap of faith. And we're also, of course, going to use them to make donations to mentors, right? We might like set up another pool and say, hey, mentors, if you can prove that you've trained someone, just have a go at it. This is a donation from the community to you. And I don't know, any other sort of game that we, as a DAO, come up with and agree to do.
Well, that's brutal. Do you have maybe a Giveth fundraise or a Gitcoin fund?
Well, we are
not,
building
not yet.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We are building the NFT project first to come up with some funding, but we also are exploring if we can gamify these NFTs in order to make a use of it. I mean, we are seeing if we can add some attributes to the NFT that later will change if you commit a challenge on the blockchain and learn. So your NFT will end up being the same image but with different stats showing that you completed challenges. That's to gamify this educational process.
Yeah. But we're also talking to Gitcoin and that sort of stuff. We haven't done anything yet because we were like exploring, understanding the problem we're trying to solve better, and we didn't want to like have any donation before we knew what we were gonna do with the donation, right? But we are talking to people that want to help us out, that like the project.
Can I ask another question? Is there
Sure,
anything you can share about successful strategies to gain credibility with developers that aren't yet in the blockchain space? I mean, what works? What's working?
Yeah, sure. Well, in my experience, the cases of success is that you start like interacting with the person like in a super chill way. You choose a project. I believe that the best way to learn is by building, right? And you just start building something, right? And then as soon as you identify something that's different in our world to their world, you say, okay, I have to explain this to you, right? And then you explain, I don't know, whatever what a block is. But you're building, always in the context of building something, right? And then you don't pressure the person to say, okay, this is going to be 8 hours a day, right? Because they usually have a job by then, right? They're only starting to like say, okay, what's this? This is interesting. I want to play around with it. So you start with like a low demand of time, right? But then you say, the DAO or the team that's doing the mentorship is going to compensate you. So whenever you study, you work on this project, you get paid for it, right? And what I found is that when you set up those conditions, people just fall down the rabbit hole, and then they're doing 4 hours, and then they're doing 8, and then they're like, hey, this is amazing. I want to do this full time. And by then, which usually happens like a month in something, they quit their job, right? And they're fully onboarded. So I guess the TLDR is like no pressure, but a lot of incentives to fall down the rabbit hole.
Cool. Thank you.
Very interesting. Very cool, actually. By the way, do you have maybe any kind of resources, links that you would like to share in the Town Hall Dump, the channel about this one? Or anybody
Yeah, for sure.
interested, or
We're
or
gonna drop a
chilling?
few links.
Ah, cool. So we can save them?
Yeah, check it out. Basically, right now is just the Discord where there's a lot of conversations going on. People coming in to like have a first look around the space, right? Um, not just the Discord. They want to be devs, so they come around, ask a few questions, and then we have the forum where you can see active open mentorships where you can apply to if you're a mentee, or you can apply if you're a mentor. If you're a mentor or you want to be a mentor, like we don't have a process. You just open up a thread, right? And if if you don't have what it takes to be a mentor, people are just not going to apply, right? We leave that process to self-resolve. But if any of you want to be a mentor, like if you enjoy this idea of what we explained and want to do it, you just go there to the forum and you open a thread and say, "Hey, I'm a mentor who wants to do a program," right? We have a couple of templates for you to follow if you don't know how to do that. And then we have a bunch of GitHub repositories with resources, challenges that people can do to learn. And I think pretty much it for now.
Awesome, cool. Very, very cool, Ash. Does anybody else have any more questions? Because otherwise, we can get ready for our next guests, I guess.
I have one last question. Outside of funding, what is the biggest need you guys have, like, right now? What's your biggest challenge?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess attention. We need to overcome this lack of inertia. There's been a lot of attempts to solve this problem, right? Education problem. And one fear that we have is that people just get excited for a while and then just forget about it, right? So we have the challenge of getting OGs in the community to mentor, right? And that's not necessarily economically aligned or dependent, because usually OGs in the space are doing quite well, so they don't need like incentives, right? So that's our second biggest challenge right now, to not like lose momentum.
Right on. Well, thanks for joining us today and sharing. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys. Like, I really respect your community, and I hope we can one day become like you. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
This is really, really good.
Share some links.
Yeah, we'll do. Dropping them now.
Very nice.
Oh, it's done.
Yep. We got the Medium, Twitter, GitHub, Discourse, and GitHub. Well, I'll be pasting that.
Nice.
Well,
Alright,
I guess.
yeah. Thank you guys for joining us, and keep doing the awesome work.
You don't have to leave.
yeah.
Oh, sure. I want to see what's next.
Yeah, it's UBI Blockchain Collective. We have Anna and Beso. H. Beso.
That name gives a lot of problems. Hello. Just dropped the presentation because we are nerds. We have a presentation for this in the town hall dump, and there are links inside there. So if you fancy seeing that, it's in the town hall dump.
The PDF.
See, is that one? Can I share my screen?
Yep. There's only 16 of us. Could be good.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to start with the presentation, and Humberto will take over. So let's see how it looks. Can you see the?
Now there's only a white screen with a gray header.
No, that's bad.
And now it's a little context.
Cool. Okay.
No, whatever you pressed at the last second. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, when I put it just disappears for some reason. Oh, okay.
Oh, this works as well, yeah.
Cool. So Humberto and I are part of the UBI Blockchain Collective, and just to give you a bit of context, what is it and how it was born. So we had the pleasure to meet Hilde Latour. She is the president of BN, the Blockchain Income Earth Network. And basically in June, we met with her and we found out that there are many other UBI projects going on, and that actually it should be good if we collaborate with them, because every project was developing one part of the story, but by joining forces we could get this UBI idea going on faster. So we created the UBI Blockchain Collective and invited all the different projects to join in a monthly call that we have to share what they're doing and what are the challenges they are facing. And it went very well because we are still having these monthly calls, and we are still collaborating with all the different projects. So our purpose at the moment is to create a library of regenerative templates that will help to scale the universal basic income by turning it into a plug and play template. And in this way, it could be adopted by all willing communities, no matter where they are located or what cultural power they have. At the moment, we count 14 members, between which it's MetaGame, because I started representing MetaGame voluntarily with the purpose of seeing how MetaGame can help the blockchain collective, and it's going well at the moment. And there are two ways to join the UBI Blockchain Collective, because we welcome organization as well as individual members. So as an organization, you can join if you're willing to put at the disposition of the world your wisdom and technology. We left you a link here. Or if you are an individual that wants to help out and is aligned with the ideology of the universal basic income, but it's not backed up by an organization, it's fine as well. And we left the link for individual here. So we have been creating also useful content that can be found on our YouTube channel in the form of videos. We have an email where you can contact us, our Discord server, and a website, which is still a work in progress. And now I will give the word to Humberto to explain the strategy for cross-organizational, cross-sector tech collaboration.
Hi. So yeah, thanks. So just one note about the previous information is that the YouTube started from Proof of Humanity. So all the content there to date is from Proof of Humanity. We have around 600 subscribers from the Proof of Humanity community. Then when we were in Proof of Humanity, we realized that we needed to gather and define where are the common efforts and where are the gaps between the different projects willing to achieve the same goal. And well, now that's why we summoned these UBI projects into one collective, and it's an ongoing process that has been since June. And well, the strategy, within these monthly calls, we defined the strategy that we orgs that are working for delivering universal basic income, what we needed is these three things. So we have a strategy that is regarding cross-organizational, cross-actor, and cross-technological collaboration. And this is because the name is UBI Blockchain Collective and not UBI Ethereum Collective or something like that. So the idea is that every blockchain and beyond blockchains, other technologies that are working for this goal, we are part of a global supply chain, let's say, that together we form modules for facilitating this. So there are technologies like Kotani Pay that offer SMS transactions that are validated within the Celo network. And this allows to deliver crypto, the Celo dollar, through SMS in Africa. But this technology is not applied in the American continent. And that's why defining this global supply chain will allow us to understand what are the things missing in every type of community. So the first strategy has the UBI Dream Teams because we found out that all of us are doing the same things repeatedly. So we are having growth teams, we're having fundraising teams, we're having onboarding efforts, and so on. We are willing to build a marketplace. And when we found out this, it was stupid to continue like doing it as it was. So we started, building these dream teams. The idea is to put all these efforts or initiatives that are not directly impacting on UBI or making a social impact, let's say, and enable the collective to take those efforts and them so that the organizations can purely focus on the social impact. But these dream teams need to be formed or need to be built by members of the collective so that the people that are joining these dream teams get to know the full perspective of all the members and not only from one organization. Within these dream teams, we have the UBI Hackathon dream team that is organizing a hackathon that will be launched on February, cyber physical hackathon that will be available in different parts of Latin America and in India with universities as host sites and then connected to all the digital partners. The idea with the hackathon is to explain and to show the local communities the modules, the technologies, the knowledge that is already there so that the community can see what is available within its local space and then take it and from the things that are not readily available there, then innovate by creating a new type of service by just copying the things that are in other places and innovating them or contextualizing them in their community, or bringing those services into their communities by, let's say, asking Kotani Pay to reach another country, just as an example. Can you go one down, please? Then the other strategy is about the regenerative templates. This is what I am talking about, the supply chain, to mapping the supply chain. In this effort, Scott Morris, who is a token engineer who participated in Balancer in like the first years of Balancer, and he rewrote the white paper, and he's now working with the IXO Cosmoverse, and he is leading the effort of mapping the supply chains of the UBI members so that we can have this understanding of who is doing what and what is needed to repeat the same in another place. Can you go another one down, please? And then finally, we have the local adoption, which is the hackathon is the first one. And within this, one thing that in Chetumal we are going to do is to explain MetaGame with my meta, with the quests, so that people can, the local community can see what are the things that can be done using MetaGame's builds, technologies, and specifically also implement the way of MetaGame DAO or the way of organizing, which I personally find as the best way of organizing within all DAOs that I've been wandering around. And that's why also the UBI Blockchain Collective has copied some of the strategies that MetaGame has regarding rewarding and counting and the culture, and we are having that in our Discord too. The idea is to replicate this on the cyber physical layer at Chetumal, where I will be locally based soon, and which I will be leading the hackathon team, that part of Earth, let's say. And finally, yes, we invite you to join us, as MetaGame is part of the members. Anyone interested in bringing universal basic income to your communities and that already has some kind of experience regarding coordination, growth, universal basic income, fundraising, and so on, onboarding, is very, very valuable or worthy to the collective and will facilitate reaching this goal. And specifically, this call to action is made to MetaGame, which, as I said, has already the knowledge to replicate this in other communities to make this impact. So that's it. If you have any questions, please make them. Thank you.
Oh, very nice. And how do like people join, right? Do they just hop into? Do you have like Discord maybe or?
Yeah, so there in the presentation, there are two forms that we have on our website, and basically they can fill in the forms, write their specific abilities, and then they are able to join. We also have a Discord server inside the presentation. So basically these two ways, or they can contact us via email, but well, that's too old-fashioned.
So email only.
Yeah, or pigeon mail or letter is fine.
Cool. And you said it started with proof of humanity? Or is that just the YouTube part?
No, that's the YouTube, because it started there. So Anna and I were in Proof of Humanity, and we summoned Hilde Latour. And then when talking with Hilde Latour, it came the idea that we needed to summon many more projects. and then we started it very organically, and then we decided to better focus on the collective organizing or coordination rather than just being working within one organization, in this case Proof of Humanity, to have a greater impact.
So does the collective have its own token and tokenomics, or is it just a meeting of those that already have that?
Yeah, we are not willing to create a token or anything around that. It's just coordination. Let's say in this case, it's just a way of gathering everyone that is working there and enabling cross-organizational, cross-actor, and cross-technologies coordination. And the token that we have is a reputation token. It's just to count voting weight. So from the UBI Blockchain Collective came the idea that I shared with MetaGame regarding the using of token lock with filtered tags and quadratic voting for having a collective roadmap, because this is something that in the UBI Blockchain Collective we are very different organizations from different sectors and different interests, even though we have one goal. So we are drafting the roadmap that the collective needs to focus on through the dream teams, through this reputation voting weight, let's say. But that's it.
That's cool. So I assume, when you mention different groups and different interests, do you have standards beyond having the one goal of universal basic income? Are there, things that you say to your collective members, you must do it this way, or we found this is the best way to do it, or is it just, hey, share with us your experience and let's figure out, what we think works best?
Yeah, so I will give an example that will be more clear. So Circles is creating a marketplace. I think it's already done. They will be launching it very soon. Proof of Humanity is doing the same, and it's already also quite finished. And many other organizations were thinking on starting that. So one thing will be like, if every organization wants to have a marketplace, so these organizations go to the token lock, they issue they generate an issue about building a collective marketplace. And then, I don't know, Celo comes and says, oh no, the next things that we need to do or to develop is not a marketplace, but I don't know, a user interface for registering everybody in the different UBI blockchain projects. And then we collectively decide on which are the things that the dream team of, in this case, it doesn't exist, but let's say will be developer dream team, need to focus. Because the dream teams follow a collective mandate, and the collective mandate is what the token lock says, because that's the voting weight of everybody. As a team that works is the growth team. So, for example, having in the website the directory of all members is something that the growth team wants, and then people vote for that. And another thing will be to have a newsletter. So the collective, all the UBI members decide which are the things that the dream teams need to focus on, because the collective is sponsoring the dream team champions to work for the collective rather than working for an individual organization. And in this way, we collectively decide which are the things that need to go first. Let's say in this case, the directory needs to go first, and then the newsletter, and so on. I don't know if that was clearer.
I mean, I guess, no, it helps me appreciate how you prioritize collectively. I guess I'm thinking of, have you encountered any situations yet where you have disputes between groups, where one group says, hey, we're doing it like this, and another group comes to the table and says, hey, that really goes against this strong collective value our group has. How do you navigate something like that, or have you had that yet?
Yeah. Okay. So we have not had that yet because these environments for coordination are very, very new. Like not all members have finished registering, and the token log is already there, but has not been like the, like used for by everybody yet because it has like a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks to be that was deployed. But we have had already some um, discussions about the things that are not negotiable. And one of those, but those were like in gatherings, like in meetings only, not in like using any type of discourse or whatever, just in live meetings. And it was about how do we define universal basic income? And one of those things is that it should be unconditional regarding not requiring any work activity or any status, social economic status. Needs to be universal, that we all aim to bring basic income to the whole planet and not focus on only one geographic location, and not to certain type of people, let's say, because one thing that many people focus when talking about basic income is about ending poverty, which was one of my first approaches to basic income. But basic income does not focus on ending poverty. Ending poverty is a direct effect, but basic income needs to be given to everybody, not only to poor people, let's say in this case. And so we were discussing these things, but it was a very organic discussion. But I find that in the future we might face these kind of discussions. Uh, Fortunately, I am having the training in diplomacy in the gravity. The diplomacy gravity training, which after I graduate from there, I will start sharing some information and share also to everybody to become a graviton, so that we can enter into this type of discussions with alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, which is something that in here in MetaGame I've been reading that is something also wanted. So we are pretty big, let's say, in this case.
Right on. Well, thank you.
But we're full of energy, so join.
Can anybody join? Or are specific skills looked for? Or
No, we are very open that everybody joins. Like for example, we are focused only on UBI, but are not on the blockchain. So literally, like everybody's knowledge is very valuable. Goodwill to join, you are welcome. Like because we are developing something really big, and to join forces is the best thing to do. So everybody welcome.
yes, very nice. Any questions or a round of awkward silence?
I believe you have your answer.
You ruined it. could have been the most awkward ever.
I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, awkward silence. It's the new applause.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
just
we're speechless.
tapping out. It was so amazing, like people speechless. Like in high school when they give you a presentation and they ask you, "Do you have any questions?" But well, the presentation is in the hold on. So with all the links, and yeah.
I think both of like spaces presented today, so UBI Collective and the stuff that you were doing at Ethernaut is like really aligned with what MetaGame is trying to do and what our idea is, and this like open source public good sector. So yeah, I think there are like many connections that could be fortified in the future as we progress.
I have a question. I'm curious if you guys surface, I guess. So one thing I'm interested in these marketplaces across these different projects, and do you guys do kind of deep dives on some of these approaches across the different projects, and kind of is there a way to kind of like look at some of these features across across these projects, kind of see how everyone's approaching these problems?
We're talking to UBI Blockchain Collective, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear
You
that.
kind of got cut off with your audio.
I think you were referring to UBI Blockchain Collective. If so, yes, the marketplace idea was something that instead of being built, like I think that the Circles and Proof of Humanity have already done it, so it's okay. But then what these two organizations have done can work for creating a shared one for those that were willing to build their own, and that was one thing that we agreed. And the one from Proof of Humanity is not from Proof of Humanity, it's from a couple of people from the community, and they are building it for like their own agenda, which is very good because they are offering the value for Proof of Humanity, but they serve their own interest. And the one of Circles, they are open as open source, so that anybody can build on top of it, which might be the road forward. And the idea is that the marketplace holds or can accept all the tokens from all UBI projects, so that somebody can put to sell some shoes with 20% of UBI, 30% of Circles, and so on, Celo and other cryptos, UBI cryptos, and together define the function, as you were saying that this marketplace should have. So these will be shared initiatives.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. That would be a really cool, like kind of roundtable or something, to hear the different projects kind of talk about what their goals are in designing these marketplaces, and kind of what their approaches are. I'd like to learn more. Thanks.
Thanks for making the question.
Someone had to do it.
Well, thank you very much. If you have any other questions or are willing to join, contact us or apply directly to the links. MetaGame's knowledge and experience will be very valuable for the collective, mostly regarding the coordination part. which is the thing that is missing at this moment. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and speaking. And yeah, I guess last question, just for formalities, for like both you and the Ethernaut crew. If by accident we recommend some people to join you, would that be fine? You know, if miraculously some tweet sometime appears for devs to seek out Ethernaut or UBI people to
Would
seek
be
out.
amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing on our side too.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Super cool. We'll report it to the Schillers Guild.
Yeah, this was for legal reasons, not financial advice. Yeah, because they're both awesome things, and really